Hello, friends, both old and new. I am John St. Baptiste, and this is Music Makes the People Come Together, where we share amazing and eclectic music with amazing and eclectic people, much like yourselves. So, this week's theme actually has to do with some amazing and eclectic people. I have been invited by both Zora Hype and AU Pack Mule to be on their channels this week as a guest, and A, I'm so honored. B, they have a common theme, and that is what is going to be my theme for this week. This is a piece performed by Tina Gao. She's a Chinese American cellist. This woman is absolutely amazing. And this is her doing the theme song from Game of Thrones, which both of the content creators who I'm working with this week happen to have channels about. So, two cool things. One, I'm doing some amazing work with some other people, and I just want to thank both of them so much for having me on their channels. Also, this means that my theme for the week isn't really a theme for the rest of the music. So the other 5 playlists, I can pretty much do whatever I feel like. And I'm going to go ahead and proceed to do that because there's some stuff that I have been wanting to share with everybody. That's what this channel is all about. It's about sharing music with people. I'm sharing music with you. I would love it if in the comments section down below you would share some music with me. Things you think I need to hear. Things you'd like for me to curate. Because that's what this channel is all about, is curating music. So, that being said, Tina Gao, oh my gosh, the Game of Thrones theme. This is awesome. And I really hope you enjoy it. So, moving on. I have 5 playlists, and I add a track to them every week. I also just make a playlist for the week that condenses everything I've added for that week. You can choose one or the other to check out, listen to, follow. And the playlist for the week is going to be down in the description, right down there. So, playlist number 1, Better to Be Happy. I have included one of my favorite tracks of all time. This is I Kiss Your Lips by Tokyo Ghetto Pussy. Trigger warning for anybody who needs one of those. I actually uploaded the video, and videos and what can be shown in public TV are a little different in other countries than they are here. This is from Japan. Apparently this is perfectly acceptable to have on TV. There are a lot of cartoon genitals. If that's going to bother you, I would advise skipping through this track. But the song's great, and I think the video is pretty enjoyable. But yes, there are cartoon genitals. So if that's going to bother anybody, please don't watch. The last thing I want to do is bother anybody. So, moving on. The fracking opera for this week is Der Fliegende Holländer, The Flying Dutchman by Richard Wagner. The reason that's my opera for the week, 1, I love it. B, it is being done this week by the Cincinnati Opera. And being a season ticket holder, I am going to be going to see that. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do a live content video like I did with the last opera, but we will see. If not, please don't be upset with me. Anyway, this is an amazing opera. It's one of Richard Wagner's few completely standalone operas, so you don't have to immerse yourself in an entire series if you just want to enjoy this piece as it is. I always try to, when I post an opera, since they're normally in languages besides English, and the majority of my followers happen to come from English-speaking countries, I normally try to find a subtitle version. This is an amazing recording. It's unbelievable. It is so... The sound quality is just spectacular. And it is subtitled. However, there's Spanish subtitles. So we have Spanish subtitles for a German opera, and if you can't follow Spanish or German, you may lose a few nuances, especially in the conversational pieces, but it's still an amazing piece of music. And I have always been of the school that you don't need to necessarily... don't get me wrong, I love the subtitles being projected, but I think you can appreciate the piece of music without necessarily understanding every word that's being said. By the way, I want to apologize for the rolled up sleeves. It's a little informal. We're all friends here on this channel, and honestly, it is so ridiculously hot in Cincinnati right now that I have to roll up my sleeves. I mean, it's insane how hot it is. I have a fan and an AC unit, both on me, and I'm still hot. So, yeah. I was going to wear the Daddy Tolkien jacket tonight because I do have an amazing houndstooth tweed coat, but I tried to put it on and no, that's just not going to happen. So, apologize for that. You'll get to see the tweed coat soon enough, I imagine. Moving on, the full playlist edition for this week is Let Your Dim Light Shine by Soul Asylum. One of my favorite albums by one of my favorite bands. This is a band I've seen 15 times live. They're amazing. If they are playing within 250 miles of here, for anyone who doesn't live in the States, that would be roughly 400K. I will drive there to see them. Amazing show. They just have so much fun, but this is one of their best studio albums. It was their last album with Sterling Campbell as a drummer. I believe the only studio album with Sterling Campbell as a drummer. He was a drummer for a while for them, and he came from a jazz background, and he wanted to go back into doing jazz music. I don't think there were any hard feelings from fans or the band. He just went back to doing his thing, and that's awesome. So they had to replace him, and they're like, oh, hey, who can we find for... Their drummer is Michael Bland. He used to be Prince's drummer. Like, can you imagine, just turning in your resume? Oh, yeah, and, I used to play drums for Prince. How freaking cool is that? But so anyway, the unbelievable album. If I were stranded on an island for the rest of my life, and I think I've said something similar to this before, this would have to be one of the 20 albums I have. I love it. From the first note to the last note of the last song, it's great. Also, when I discovered this album, I was a young adult. I think I was about 16. I was in an awful emotional space, and it really helped me get through it. And, that means, it's just... It's so special to me. So maybe you won't love it as much as I do, but please give it a chance because it's a great album on its own right, let alone what it means to your curator, John St. Baptiste. Moving on. This week's cover that kicks ass. Oh! So, new band that not new, but new to me, that I've recently discovered is Steve and Seagulls. They're a Finnish bluegrass band. Stop. Let that sink in. Finnish bluegrass. The music's so fun. And, okay, that's my one fun. I'm trying to avoid using that word because I use it too much, I apologize. So, this track is great. It is them covering November Rain by Guns N' Roses, which is just spectacular. It's the official video. they go a little over to the top with the hillbilly connotations of bluegrass, coming from a family that has some Appalachian roots. I wasn't offended. It might offend some people, but seriously, it's just being funny about it. And, you know, pull up your adult pants, please. Just pull them up. Boom. So, yes, Steven Seagal is doing November Rain. It's a great track. It's really enjoyable. And that gets me on to the final playlist. Whose house? John's house, which is so near and dear to my heart because that's, the music that I passionately love. All music, but it's really close. This week's track is Spice by Aeon, and it is the Vinyl Solution mix. He who controls the spice controls the universe. Oh, it's an unbelievable track. Back in the day, I try and throw out some new house, and I will be. I know I've been playing a lot of classic stuff, but in fact, next week I will play some new house for you. So this is the last classic piece for at least a couple weeks. But this track back in the day, oh my God, it would rip people off the wall, and they would just be on the floor and enjoying it. It's such an amazing track. And the samples that it's from, if you're a science fiction fan, you're going to recognize them right away. It's amazing. And I am so excited about sharing this with you. And I was able to find my favorite mix to put on the compilation for this week. So I'm also really stoked about that. So those are the tracks for this week. You can find them all in the Week 6 playlist, which is right down there. Also, speaking of right down there, please, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy the music that I share, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Google needs to be told twice, so just do it. And please, if you have any music to share with me or with the other people here, do so. Sharing music, that's what this is all about. So, trivia for this week. Last week's piece of trivia, I think I actually worded very poorly. The technical correct answer was by Papa Tab, because I asked who made a piece of music. And the people who made that piece of music were Led Zeppelin, and he named off the band members: John Paul Jones, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, and John Bonham. He absolutely correct about that. The question I was trying to ask was, members of Led Zeppelin came from another band. What was that band? And the band was the Yardbirds, who also, this little-known guitarist named Eric freaking Clapton played with Jimmy freaking Page in. So that's pretty cool. But Papa Tab, you get the smooch for the week because of my poor wording. The question for this week, the trivia question. So, Spice by Aeon uses a sample and has to do with a certain book. A, what's the book? And B, I would like for someone to name 3 characters who do not have the same last name from that book or one of its sequels. 3 characters without the same last name. Any 3. So whoever can do that first is going to get this week's smooch. In the meantime, thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much for your support. That reminds me, every week I do this, there are people who shout me out on their websites, and I want to return the favor. So Azora Hype, AU Pack Mule, Indie Geek, Raw Wrist, and Lauren's Corner, thank you so much for all the support. You people have made me feel like this is something I can and should do, and it means the world to me. It really does. So I want to thank all of you. And I want to thank everyone who came here today. If you're a subscriber, thank you. If you're new, thank you. If you're new and you become a subscriber, that would be awesome. In the meantime, I will be posting content next week. And until then, please would you, especially because it's my birthday today, be so kind as to be excellent to one another. Party on.